Welcome to Death Valley and the Battle of Louisiana as our 22nd ranked Grambling State Tigers hit the road to take on the 3-4 LSU Tigers. First quarter action, Narcisse keeps the option up the middle, finds some space, follows his blockers, fights ahead for 17 yards. A few plays later, Narcisse goes back to the air. He drops back, steps up in the pocket, but gets flattened by big Cam Richardson. LSU forced a punt. GSU's first possession, King with the drop back and throws a dart to C. Tizzle. He sheds a tackle and stumbles ahead for 17 yards. 2 plays later, King goes back to the air and hits gun on the curl. He spins and gains 13. Next play, JT takes it left and powers ahead for 8 yards. 2 plays later, King drops back and threads the needle to Bradford across the middle for 11. 2 plays later, King hits Terrell on the slant and the big wideout muscles his way into the end zone. Touchdown Tigers! GSU takes the early 7-0 lead. LSU looks to respond. Webb takes the handoff, tries to bounce it outside, but Mike Collins is there to bring him down for the TFL. Then on third down, LSU tries to set up the screen for Webb, but Marvin Goff forces him out of bounds. 3 and out LSU. Grambling State takes over. JT takes the handoff up the middle and weaves through traffic and picks up 11. Then on 3rd and 5, King drops back, rolls to his right and keeps it. The big QB gets pulled down just short of the marker. Tigers lined up to go for it on 4th, and JT finds some room up the middle and gains 8 yards. After an LSU sack, GSU with the 3rd and long, King with the deep drop, and look at this throw to Rob Bradford across the middle for 22. First down Tigers. Next play, King goes back to the air and hits Sean Edwards on the outside. The freshman turns upfield and gains 17. A few plays later, JT takes it up the middle, cuts, and walks into the end zone. Touchdown GSU, 14-0 Tigers. LSU comes out running. Webb takes the sweep left, sheds the carry tackle, and picks up 5. Then Narcisse drops back and threads the needle to Stevens on the slant for 6. Next play, Narcisse drops back, looks to sneak out to the right, but Richard Maynard is there for his 10th sack on the season. A few plays later, Narcisse with the deep drop, and he breaks the pocket left, turns upfield, and gets the first down. Then on first down, Joe Webb takes the power right, bounces off a defender, and stumbles ahead for 9. Next play, Webb shows off his strength, shedding 2 tackles on his way to an 8-yard gain. Then for the 3rd time, Webb gets it, bounces it right, turns on the Jets, and is finally tackled after picking up 23. But GSU would finally shut down the run game. Narcisse pitches it to Webb, but Josh Carey is there to lower the boom for a 2-yard loss. 2 plays later, Narcisse drops back, hits Green wide open, tries to cut back but gets popped, but it's a 1st and goal. Next play, Webb takes the pitch and gets into the end zone. LSU cuts the lead in half, 14-7. GSU back on offense. King comes out throwing, hitting Terrell on the curl for 13. Then look at the lane up the middle for Joel Thomas. He gains 10 yards. Later in the drive, King throws a gorgeous pass to Edwards on the outside for 12, but just short of the first down. Grambling set to go for it on 4th down again, and LEJ works his way up the middle for the first down. Next play, JT hits the hole on the left, makes a cut, and gains another 11 yards. Then just before the half, Ladarian Ellis-Jones gets into the end zone. Touchdown Tigers, putting GSU up 21-7. And that will be your score at the half. Grambling State is looking dominant in this year's Battle of Louisiana. If we've learned anything from previous years, never count out LSU. Start a 3rd, Thomas finds some space on the right and picks up 7. Next play, King with the drop back. He rolls left, loads up, and throws it deep to Bradford, but is picked off by Phillips, and he has some room in front of him. He's finally brought down at the 37-yard line. The LSU drive was stalled, and they set up for a long field goal. The kick is up, and it's good. That had to be a 57-yarder. What a kick. GSU takes back over, and Thomas is still running hard. He picks up another 7. Then the redshirt freshman goes back up the middle, makes a move, and picks up 11. 2 plays later, King drops back and hits Gunn on the outside, and he gains 15. Then LSU sends the house, but King throws a dart to Cox. Grambling State inside the red zone. Few plays later, Joe Thomas drops his head and muscles his way to the goal line. Set up the redshirt freshman's 2nd end zone visit on the day. Touchdown Grambling! LSU looks to answer. Webb takes the handoff, and look at the hole. He stiff arms and muscles his way to 15. Later in the drive, Narcisse drops back, rolls to his left, turns upfield, and fights for 9 yards. Then on 3rd and long, Narcisse goes back to the air, has tons of time, and finally hits Stevens across the middle for 16. Next play, the big QB will show off his wheels. He escapes left, turns upfield, gets hit, but keeps his balance and falls into the end zone. LSU cuts the lead down to 11. Next Grambling State possession, King goes back to the air, throwing a low ball to Terrell. He spins and gains 16. Then Joe Thomas gashes LSU again, this time picking up 13. Then on 3rd and long, King drops back and hits Gunn, and it's a first down for GSU. Few plays later, King goes back to the air, and he hits Thomas across the middle for 13. Next play, Gunn with the 3-step drop and throws a laser to Terrell, and he falls into the end zone. Touchdown, Grambling! Start of the 4th, LSU driving. Narcisse hits Netherly on the slant, and he picks up 15. Next play, Narcisse drops back, scrambles to his left, makes a cut, gets popped, but still picks up 17. But the defense would tighten up. Narcisse sets up the screen for Webb, but Goff is there for the 5-yard loss. 2 plays later, Narcisse goes back to the air. He has all the time in the world, and he throws it deep to King for a 26-yard gain. Later on 3rd and long, Narcisse goes back to the air, and he hits Netherly on the cutback cheese, and he fights to get into the end zone. Touchdown, LSU. The Bayou Bengals was set up to go for 2, and Webb walks into the end zone. GSU's lead down to 10. Grambling State takes over, 4.5 left on the clock. Ellis Jones tries to go up the middle and gets laid out, and it's a fumble. LSU jumps on it. Turnover number 2 for the Tigers. The LSU drive was stalled. They come on to kick another field goal. GSU's lead down to a touchdown. Grambling State looks to milk the clock. Ellis Jones goes up the gut for 6. And LEJ finds a hole on the left, cuts upfield, and gains 7. Several plays later, King drops back and hits Paxson across the middle, and that would do it. Grambling State holds on to win, 35-28. Chris King continues his hot streak, 22 of 30 for 237 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. In the backfield, Joel Thomas carried the rock 28 times for 152 yards and 2 scores, while Ladarian Ellis Jones finished with 55 yards and a score. Out wide, Rob Bradford, Demetrius Gunn, and Chad Terrell each had 5 grabs, and C. Tizzle had his first 2 TDs of the season. On defense, Josh Gary led the way with 11 tackles. Big Cam Richardson and Richard Maynard each had a sack. Another tough win for our Tigers, but the SEC gauntlet continues as Ole Miss comes to the hole next week for homecoming. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you smash that thumbs up button and subscribe if you're brand new. And don't forget to hit those links down in my description and follow your boy on Twitter, IG, and Facebook at Big C Gat Game. Have a great day, guys. 2 fingers in the air. Peace.